It kicks off with a young woman, Sadie, driving along the outskirts of Washington, D.C. out of nowhere. She gets a call from Dr. Yates. They talk about someone who's recently passed away, and Sadie's clearly shaken by the news. Even though she admits she wasn't particularly close to the person, she feels connected. Why? They were the same age, had similar jobs, and even lived in homes that were eerily alike, both cold and lonely. Dr. Yates offers her some comforting words and promises to check on her later. Switching gears, we meet Cole Turner, a guy running a small stall at a market. He's fresh out of a breakup, and to make things worse, he vents about it to Edna, a fellow vendor, who immediately turns it into gossip. Edna, who sells plants, asks Cole to watch her stall while she takes a smoke break. While Edna's away, Sadie, yes, the same Sadie, shows up at the stall and starts browsing. Cole notices her and comes over to see what she's looking for. She picks out a plant but hesitates, saying she's always on the move and might not be able to care for it. Cole refuses to sell it to her, thinking she'll kill it, which leads to a small argument. When Edna returns, she settles things by charging Sadie $10 for the plant, and Sadie heads out. After she's gone, Edna nudges Cole to ask her out. Though reluctant at first, he finally works up the courage and chases after her. When he catches up to Sadie, he invites her for coffee. She's taken aback, especially after their little spat, but eventually agrees. What starts as coffee turns into a whole day together. They hit up different spots, talking about their lives along the way. Sadie shares that she's an art curator and travels a lot for work. Cole, on the other hand, is writing a book on farming techniques. The conversation flows from travel to horror movies, and Sadie mentions she doesn't let herself get scared. She recalls a terrifying escape from her homeland on a raft with her mother, which taught her to be fearless. Their day stretches into the night, and they end up at a bar, where Sadie surprises Cole by hopping on stage to sing. She invites him to join, but he's too shy. Later, Sadie opens up about how she feels like a cactus, someone who doesn't need constant care, but still craves companionship. Her life feels empty despite all the traveling. As the night winds down, things heat up between them. By the time Cole walks her home, sparks are flying, and their chemistry leads to a passionate night together. The next day, Cole's so smitten he can't help but gush about Sadie to his family. His parents are thrilled, but his sister Maddie is less optimistic, warning him not to get his hopes up. Cole tells them he thinks she might be the one, but Maddie isn't convinced. Over the next few days, Cole bombards Sadie with texts, but she doesn't reply. His dad speculates about possible reasons, but Maddie bluntly says she's ghosting him. Then Cole remembers leaving his inhaler with a tracker inside her bag. When he checks its location, he's shocked to see it's in London. Ignoring Maddie's advice, but with his parents' encouragement, Cole decides to fly to London and surprise her. Once there, he follows the tracker to a sketchy alleyway, where he's suddenly ambushed and kidnapped. Cole wakes up in a creepy lab full of dangerous insects. His captors, mistaking him for someone called the Taxman, start interrogating him. He insists he's just a farmer, but they're not buying it. Just as things are about to get brutal, Sadie bursts in, armed to the teeth, and takes down everyone in sight. As alarms blare, they make a dramatic escape. During the chaos, Cole learns the shocking truth. Sadie isn't an art curator, she's a CIA agent. Armed with guns, they fight their way out, though Cole mostly just hides and helps with cover fire. Once they're out of the lab, Cole realizes they're in the Khyber Pass, Pakistan. They jump into Sadie's Jeep, but their escape is cut short when local security forces attack. In a desperate move, they hijack a bus, leading to a high-speed chase. Soldiers climb aboard, but Cole manages to fend them off using his old wrestling skills. During the chaos, Sadie accuses Cole of stalking her, while he argues it was a grand romantic gesture. After taking out the pursuers, their bus breaks down, forcing them to continue on foot. Meanwhile, back at the villain's lair, a man named Levesque, who's running the whole operation, offers a huge bounty for the taxman. He's determined to get a passcode linked to a biochemical weapon called Aztec, capable of massive destruction. Sadie and Cole make it to a place called Mingola, where Sadie meets Marco, a local big shot. Marco greets her with a kiss, revealing they have a history. Sadie explains that her real mission was to secure Aztec, and rescuing Cole was just an afterthought. Marco agrees to help Cole get back to the US, but their plans are interrupted when a hitman named Eve shows up, kills Marco, and takes Sadie and Cole hostage. From there, things spiral into chaos. Eve is attacked by another assassin called the Leopard, who then gets killed by yet another guy, the Lion. Amid the confusion, Sadie and Cole manage to escape. As they drive, Cole reveals the interrogators kept asking him for a passcode, which makes Sadie realize Aztec is useless without it. She confesses she killed Edna, yes, the plant lady, because Edna was working with the enemy and encrypted the passcode. After this bombshell, Sadie knocks Cole out cold. When he wakes up, he finds himself being handed over to Levesque's men by Sadie, who claims Cole is the tax man with the passcode. She boards a plane and is promised payment upon landing. The story takes a twisty turn when Cole is captured, and the villain Levesque decides that torture is the way to get the all-important passcode out of him. Wagner, Levesque's trusted sidekick, is handed the dirty work. But things take an unexpected turn when they stumble across a photo of Cole and Sadie cozying up in bed. At this point, Sadie steps up, boldly claiming she's the tax man and she's got the Aztec passcode. What follows is absolute chaos. Sadie takes matters into her own hands, literally starting with Wagner, who she takes out instantly. Then there's another tough guy who decides to mess with her, but she snaps his neck even after he manages to stab her. Meanwhile, Cole is channeling his inner wrestler and taking down a different attacker. With the Aztec device and a parachute in hand, Sadie tells Cole to jump from the plane to safety, but Cole, being the guy he is, refuses to leave her behind. So they both make the leap together. Fast forward 6 hours, and they're stranded on a remote island called Socotra in the Arabian Sea. While Sadie is recovering from her injuries, Cole uses his plant expertise to patch her up. By the next morning, sparks fly again, and they share another passionate moment, only to be interrupted by Wagner and his crew showing up for revenge. Luckily, Sadie had already tipped off the CIA about her location, and her backup team arrives just in time. A chaotic battle breaks out, and while the good guys take down a chunk of Wagner's forces, the bad guys still manage to escape with Aztec. Talk about frustrating. Back at CIA headquarters, things heat up literally and figuratively. Sadie and Cole are questioned by a man named Monty Jackson. During their interrogation, Sadie claims saving Cole was a mistake, blaming him for the loss of Aztec. Cole, clearly hurt, doesn't take the comment well. To make things more awkward, they're hooked up to lie detectors, which make it hilariously obvious there's still a lot of romantic tension between them. Jackson even jokes that they need to get a room. Later, Sadie's boss, Dr. Yates, isn't thrilled with how things went down. She gives Sadie a stern warning about the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, Jackson badmouths Sadie to Cole, who doesn't hesitate to defend her. When Jackson calls her a liar and a killer, Cole notices something important. A plant in a photo. The same plant Edna used to decode the Aztec password. That's when the team decides to head to Edna's place to grab the plant and plan their next move against Levesque. Although Sadie warns Cole he's being used, Cole points out she's in the same boat. Tensions rise, but they both agree that Levesque won't stop until he has the passcode, and that means Cole's family is also in danger. Meanwhile, Levesque's employer, Mr. Utami, is getting impatient. He demands Aztec immediately, warning that failure isn't an option. Levesque arranges a meeting with taxman Cole to strike a deal. If Cole gives up the passcode, all is well. If not, Utami promises Levesque will pay with his life. The showdown happens at a mall. Cole's team is ambushed and Jackson is killed, but not before telling Cole to escape. Cole refuses, confident Sadie will come through for him. At the meeting, Utami and his men sit with Cole, while Levesque insists they still need the passcode. Cole plays along, pretending to be a traitor and asking for money in exchange for his help. Levesque isn't convinced and smells something fishy. Just when things are about to spiral out of control, Sadie shows up. Cole quickly shifts gears, pointing out that Sadie is the real taxman and holds a passcode. Utami sends her the money, and she unlocks the case holding Aztec. But as soon as the case opens, Levesque tries to kill her, only to realize he's surrounded by bounty hunters Sadie had hired as backup. Another intense shootout begins. Sadie grabs Aztec and takes cover with Cole under a table. They work together to fight off their attackers, but eventually get separated. Cole ends up battling Wagner one-on-one in a control room full of massive machinery. During their fight, the machines accidentally activate, causing the entire building to rotate, throwing everyone into chaos. On the other side of the building, Sadie faces off with Levesque in a deadly gunfight. Just as Levesque is about to finish her off, Cole shows up in the nick of time. Despite Cole's help, Levesque manages to grab Aztec and almost gets away with it. Thinking fast, Sadie shoots the ceiling above him, and the debris crushes him, putting an end to his schemes for good. With the danger finally over, Sadie and Cole share a sweet moment, including a kiss and a playful compliment about her dress. The scene then transitions to a much calmer setting, dinner at Cole's family home. His parents are thrilled to have Sadie there, and even Maddie, his usually skeptical sister, is impressed. As they laugh and bond over their wild adventures, you can see the beginnings of a deeper connection forming. Fast forward 3 months, and Sadie and Cole are now a couple, balancing their exciting careers and their relationship. But life with these two is never boring. In a surprising twist, Cole opens the trunk of their car to reveal a man tied up and gagged. Turns out, he's an arms dealer Sadie captured, and now they're off on another date. Their story ends with the promise of more crazy adventures, leaving us eager for whatever comes next. If you like this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you didn't, well, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. Either way, check out the movie for the full experience. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome recaps like this.